take up another topic, that is impulse and impulsive force. We have seen in our previous session that what this first law of motion and second law of motion is all about. The first law of motion gave us the concept of inertia, that is the basic property due to which any object comes into rest or into motion. Second law of motion gave us the magnitude, that how much amount of force has to be exerted in any object to bring out motion. Okay, now we have impulse and impulsive force. Before we start third law of motion, it is important to understand these two terms. Impulse is defined as the product of force and time of impact. Mathematically, it could be written as I for impulse is equal to force into time of impact. It is to be noted that time of impact for such forces will be very small. So this time will be taken as very short interval. Okay, and this could be written as dt or delta t. Okay, this is the expression for impulse. As simply we can take impulse is equal to force into time, but better to write force into dt or force delta t. Clear? When it comes to calculation of force, a particle has got mass m. We have a particle having mass m. Okay, this particle is having constant acceleration a. It is moving continuously with acceleration a, as in we will say that this acceleration is uniform. This is uniform acceleration. Okay, this is the mass. Now if any object is having mass moving with uniform acceleration, we can find that how much force is exerted in this object. Okay, by the formula given by second law, that is force is equal to mass into acceleration. What kind of acceleration it is? It is uniform acceleration. So if this uniform acceleration is there for this force, we can say that this force is also uniform. Correct? So for uniform acceleration, force also remains uniform. But there are certain situations in which acceleration varies. Or there are some cases in which force also increases suddenly and it decreases also. Force does not remain constant or continuous for any good length of time. Okay, so that is impulsive force, when the force changes continuously with the time of application. This is known as impulsive force. If we wish to see this force, if we want to relate this impulse and impulsive force in terms of momentum, then also we can say that impulse is change in momentum, whereas impulsive force is rate of change in momentum. This is something which is needed to be memorized, that impulse is defined as in one way as product of force and time, and also we can say that impulse is change in momentum, whereas impulsive forces rate of change in momentum. This is the difference in terms of momentum. Clear? Now we will see that how this could be justified mathematically also. Now from this equation, we will talk about this expression and we will interchange in the terms of momentum. Okay? So here we have force, impulse is equal to force into delta t. Let us see that how we can write this in terms of momentum. See, here we have I is equal to F into delta t. But from second law, we have force is equal to mass into acceleration. Also remember, from there was one more expression, that is force, that rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to force applied, and that was equal to a constant, and that was equal to force applied. Okay, that is dp by dt is equal to F. This was one of the expressions that we had derived from second law. That is rate of change in momentum is equal to force applied. So can we substitute this value over here? Yeah, we can substitute. So I is equal to, in place of F, we are going to write this one, that F is equal to dp by dt. So in place of F, we will write dp by dt. What is dt? It is a very small change. And what is delta t? It is also a very small change in time. Okay. So here in place of F, we have written dp by dt, and this is also dt. Delta t is nothing but dt. So we have written dt or delta t, both are same, nothing much different from each other. Dt got cancelled, and we got impulse is equal to dt. What is dp? dp is nothing but change in momentum. So this we got the expression that we were supposed to prove. So here I is equal to change in momentum we got from the second law of motion itself. Clear? Moving on to impulsive force. Impulsive force is the rate of change in momentum. First of all, we will see that how the nature of the graph implicates about impulse and impulsive force. If we wish to plot a graph, then we are taking up impulsive force now. Impulsive force. I told you that in this impulsive force, the force does not remain constant because acceleration also keep on changing. Okay, so if acceleration is varying, so force will also vary. So by plotting a graph, suppose this axis is about time and this is force, then in the graph, the curve for this impulsive force for this graph will be somehow like this. It will be in this way. So now we can find out that what is the force from this graph. We can see that when the time was this much, then initially the force was also 0. It was the least force at this point. When the time was this much, then this is our force. This is our force, right? When the time was this much, this is our peak force. This is our highest force. And when the time was this much, when the time reaches this much, then the force also became again 0. Okay. So what we have seen from this graph, that the force was least, it was minimum, then again at this point it was maximum. It was maximum at this point, and again it has fallen down. Here also now it has fallen down to its minimum point, minimum value. Okay, so here the force finally, initially it is less, then increased, then again decreased. So here we have seen the varying forces at different time intervals. Okay, the force is not constant. If force is not constant, then obviously acceleration will also vary, because force is equal to mass into acceleration. If force is changing, then acceleration will also change. Clear? So this is the graph for impulsive force. If you take up an example for this impulsive force, then one example could be like if I am walking on a road, then again I suddenly took a turn like this. As soon as I turned, there a vehicle approached, suppose a motorcycle approached towards me, and that motorcycle passed away from my foot like this. Okay, the moment it passed above my foot, the whole weight of that motorcycle came on my foot, but I can bear that pain. Okay, because when it passed over my foot, that time was how much? For how much time? For a very fraction of second, right? For a very small time interval. I was walking, I turned. The motorcycle was at a very high speed, so that is why it has approached like this. It passed like this. So the time of impact when it was crossing over my foot was very small. That is why I can bear that pain. But suppose that motorcycle comes, and if it stands over here for 20 seconds, 30 seconds or 1 minute, then it may cause injury or fracture, and that will be a very large force. So here when the motorcycle just passed away for a very small interval of time, that force was very large. The force was very large, but the effect was very small. Why the effect was very small? I could bear the pain because the time was very small. Clear? Are you getting? So, if very large force is applied for a very small interval of time, then that will be impulsive force. Now, impulsive force is the rate of change of momentum. How come it could be derived? It could be derived easily in the same way as, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay. Now, if we have this impulse is equal to force into time, then if this time is brought to this side, I upon t, this t we have brought on the LHS part and we have divided by impulse, so this will give you F. Okay. Now what we got from this impulse expression, that impulse is equal to dp. What is dp? mv minus u. That is mv minus mu. Okay. Or we can write mv minus mu. This was impulse. So in place of I, can we write this one? I is equal to mv minus mu. Okay. So here I am writing mv minus mu from this expression. Okay. Divided by time. This is our force. This is our force. But this is not the simple force. This is our impulsive force. So better to write here impulsive force is equal to how much? mv minus mu by t. What is mv minus mu? It is change in momentum. And if we divide change in momentum by time, or if we divide any quantity by time, that gives us the rate with what it is changing. So change in momentum divided by time is rate of change in momentum. So this will be equal to rate of change in momentum. And this is our impulsive force. This is all about impulse and impulsive force. So I hope this is clear. Next we will see about the third law of motion. So I am giving a quick review for that. Third law of motion states that the statement for that law is that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. We will see few examples also, and later on we will solve the example based on this law. Thank you.